And let me go ahead and grab my PNG. This is always so much fun. And mic check, there we are. And here I am. We are back. So sorry. Unfortunately, my controller fell from the elevated position my laptop is in onto my keyboard and actually, killed all of the audio. I don't know what it hit. It was like F5, 6, 7, 8. I was hard muted, of course. I'm hoping you can hear this without distortion, correct? Because I'm cracking this back open to describe my process. I also thank you guys for your patience between the scuff beginning, the scuff middle, and basically the scuff at the end. This entire stream has been scuff, but we're plowing forward to get Johnny's request done. Johnny is no longer required at this portion because we're still kind of feeling around to see if there are any sounds that will go with his music request. So we're gonna hit play. Um, when I go to find any kind of music at all in BandLabs, I am very beholden to how somebody puts the music in based on its name or title. Sometimes people will put in their description, what is this? RNRP Premiere Beats. I wouldn't normally look this up. If I were looking up something and I said, oh, I want a bass, I want a beat, I want a horn, I want some pianos, I want some keys, I will generically look up the instrument type first because many people do put their sound bites under that. But beyond that, some of them belong together in kits and packs. As you can see, these were all submitted by the same individual in this pack. And that's where we have this hit 120 tempura, B minor tempura 2, this strings legato. It depends on how somebody puts in the titling as to whether or not I can find it. And that's just based on me putting something in the search bar and it coming up. If I leave the search bar blank, I get the most recent postings, the end. I could scroll through this endlessly until I got to the very beginning of somebody posting these free to use sounds. And within BandLab's terms of service, so long as I put like 3 of them together in a unique fashion, I'm perfectly capable of selling that creation to somebody else. So I'm gonna hit play on this, and we'll talk about some of this. I was challenged to make haunted circus carnival music, but BandLabs has no calliope, none. None of the classic sounds you would think of when it comes to a circus or fun theme parks. So I had to make it on my own, and that's totally a doable thing. I found some sounds that I thought were haunting, sad, and I threw them up in the listing. And I thought, okay, I have the basis of what my music is going to be is this series of sounds. We have this sound, a lonely string, and this very, honestly, it's got me reminiscent of Charlotte's Web. This little revolving trill going on, and the combination of these things turns into the background of our song. And then you add in this interesting little solo on this string here. And you get to this point and I go, okay, I want to have some kind of beat. I want this to take you somewhere. We added a change up. Also, they don't have the boom, so I had to make one. And when I say make, I can very much go in and modify these pieces very specifically. I can modify the tone it's in. I can modify the speed it's at. I can modify micro pitches. I can modify micro speeds. I can slice it up like Fruit Ninja and repaste it in order it doesn't belong in. So these down here, they were split and cut to my design, and I simply renamed them so that I would not lose track of what is what. One sec. The sun butter in here. I think this accordion line down here, it was not starting in the correct location, and it doesn't quite line up with many of the other pieces I have, and same thing with the strings. So sometimes being hyper overly concerned with things looking clean on the music sheet doesn't always turn out. I wish I had more of an artistic bone. I mean, same. When it comes to things like drawing or building aesthetic inside of a home or a video game, I'm very bad at those. This is my only claim to musical understanding to operate BandLabs had been 3 years of audition choir in high school. So that's over 12 years ago for me. I feel like BandLabs is a great jumping point for somebody who does want to learn more about music and music compositions. It does a lot of the hard work for you, in that if I pull... we'll go over to the new project here for this. If I pull any one of these loops... excuse me, the first thing the program is going to do is take advantage of this 95 beats per minute and F minor and automatically move this, if I want it to, by the way. You can choose not to do that. We'll take this piano piece. I have no idea what it sounds like. Do you want the project key to be in D minor? And conversely, it will normally put the key in 170. I don't know why it didn't. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. What's this sound like here? This is very quiet. What did I grab? Okay, one of the primary things to remember about music is that music is math. That being the case, the program will do its best to align your different music pieces together. So this drum line is at 100 beats per minute. These pieces say 170, but honestly, considering how slow that was going, I think it was half that speed, being 65 beats per minute. The program will read, hey, you're at 170 beats per minute, 185 beats per minute, but it's not always doing commonly comprehensible math. Sometimes it's doing double time. I'm double fucked then. I mean, you can be, but I think that one of the easiest ways to get somebody to understand math better, it can be through music. Because music is something that everybody understands intrinsically, even if you don't realize what you're doing is math. The beginning is emulating. For anybody who sits there and taps out in time with the music, you're doing math, you just don't realize you're doing it. The same could be said for the timestamp standards of 1/4 time, 4/4 time, 2/4 time, 4/8 time, etc. And on the other side, I have options like 1 through 6, which will change where the beat strikes on the music. But the long and slow of it is, I do music by feeling. If I go through and listen to the pieces and they sound like they belong together, I'm being rated Bacon! Welcome, everybody! Welcome to the stream. My name is Violet Bexon. I am not a Fox plushie. I got shoved in here by my deranged captain, but what I am is a loop artist and a variety gamer. So, if you enjoy watching music be created or variety gaming, feel free to give me a follow. A hydrate, a posture check, a stretch! Oh, thank you. I definitely shrimp when I'm doing music. I shrimp like none other. Here's that hydrate for you. Well, welcome, Bacon. What were you playing? I don't think I managed to look in before I started streaming, and I have had a scuff of a stream. It's been very interesting. My entire controller jumped off of my laptop onto my keyboard and proceeded to just completely bit crush my audio, which you can imagine while creating music. I don't want that to happen at all. Let me give you a shout out. What were you playing? And I'll get the spelling right this time. There we go. Feel free to follow Bacon Flavor, Variety Gamer, love the content, and I'm pretty sure I remember hearing if you reach the 500 follower goal, you'll be doing maid outfit stream, and I know Fish has been salivating over that concept. I was asked how exactly I make music in BandLabs, and I was kind of breaking that down here about the copyright-free looping sounds, the program doing a lot of the backbone of the work for me. For instance, this particular piece is at 110 BPM in B-flat minor. I did a short Dark Souls stream. I was supposed to stream a bit longer, but I started later than intended because I was late. Oh my goodness. It's bananas, says Lo-Fi. I mean, if this seems complicated to you, I am perfectly open to workshopping and breaking it down. I have worked with other people in teaching them how to use this program to the best of my ability. Let me go ahead and underscore everything I've said with, I only use the looping aspect of BandLabs. BandLabs is so much broader than just that. I can add vocals to this. You can add your own instrumentals if you get an interface to do so. There's even a portion, Johnny is better at this than I am even, where you press keyboard notes to get notes. And that would be the MIDI interface. I am actually very not adept at the MIDI interface. So mine is simply the looping aspect of this, but in regards to Johnny's request, we're being asked to, and I'm very want to pick your brain over this. Bacon, please describe this music to me. I decided to do 20 squats every time I die. Only did 60 squats so far, but I plan on continuing it because I want to get hyped for the Elden Ring expansion. That's a great way to get hyped about it for sure. You're hyping your body and mapping your brain to respond to this. But Johnny's request is to have a very silly piece in this style. However, upon getting my hands into this piece of work, I realized I didn't know what the title of this particular music style is. I went looking long and hard to try and find it. Even Suo didn't have a name for this particular music style piece. It's iconic. It's something we hear all the time, but what's the name of this music style? It reminds me of an old infomercial. That was actually a description I found in this journey of trying to find, one, what this style is called, and two, what are the instruments that kind of make up this style. And somebody on a Reddit page called it 1950s in PSA. That is now the title I will be using, but it's actually called light music. That's right, folks. It's literally just called light music. All of the most iconic music for PSAs and infomercials and silly stunts and your favorite Hanna-Barbera cartoons, it's called light music. Why? That's in any case, not only has finding a description for the music been very interesting, but finding the elements of this music are going to be an interesting challenge, because I've been through BandLabs quite thoroughly, in my opinion, and I have yet to find anything rather similar, but this is not the first time. Better name than elevator music. I mean, but is it not iconic as elevator or waiting music? This particular piece that I have open and is up on my YouTube and my Coffee page if you want to go check those out, I was challenged to make music for a haunted circus, a haunted carnival, and I went looking. BandLabs doesn't have Calliope. It doesn't have circus music, so I had to build this from non-existence. And I know it's possible to do because I've done this before, and I will do so again for Johnny in recreating the light music, aka 1950s PSA. But my process, for those of you who are new to the stream, I pull copyright-free loops from the looping section. I place them in the booth. BandLabs will dictate the beats per minute and the key we're in on my first pull. My first pull will set up where I'm going. And from there, I'll proceed to pull through and listen to loop after loop after loop, find the sounds I believe fit the theme the best. Some of them I'll have to put together myself. This boom crash didn't exist until I sliced elements I liked. I went and found a cymbal crash that was echoey enough. I went and found a drum that was deep enough without being, like, Mines of Moria. So, finding a specific sound, not difficult to do if you know how to do it. I am, however, locked in some regards. Of course, the horrendous laughter starts when I'm talking about this. I am beholden to the people who are kind enough to upload this copyright-free music by how they write it in, and sometimes the description does not match even remotely. I have a sound in my favorite section called Tongue Drum, and it sounds like somebody rip-starting a lawnmower. So it's an interesting process to find the sounds you want, but it's so worth it when the pieces come together cohesively like this. Keep in mind, this piece was made in October last year. So about 2-3 months after I had gotten BandLabs under my grip and had started taking commissions. I didn't even know all of the tricks that I currently know that I maybe could have used to make this better. Because when I make loops and commissions, my claim is not, oh, I can make that style. My claim is that I can imitate a style. Sometimes I get close to the mark and sometimes I don't. But half of the process in making these is having a streamer fall in love with a sound that is uniquely theirs. And you always know that moment when a streamer falls in love where they just like gasp and you can hear the joy in what's being created to emulate their style. Now, I submitted this piece when there was a Band Labs challenge for Halloween. And the only requirement they had was that I, at some point in the music, either used or sampled their. One moment. No, my son. Hmm? My son. You're in fact currently in the middle of sampling my personal BGM. Fun fact, because of the how much music I listen to, I don't have a set style when it comes to this. And that being the case, it was very difficult for me to pick a background music for myself. It took some time, and I fell in love with this one when I made it not too long ago. So, also available to listen to on my YouTube, and there should be some links to that in my bio or my About Me somewhere. But let's go back to the stream, shall we? Okay, I mean, it's got 27 seconds left. I'll let it play. But, how should I put this? More of this process with BandLabs is based on feeling than it is on technical musical experience. Does it come in handy? Oh, yeah. I would say when I put in pieces that are at 150 BPM and 120 BPM on a 110 BPM, figuring out where the disconnect in the beats is definitely something that's very helpful. Being able to hear where the clean cutoff or where a good repetition is. Maybe that's a skill I have, maybe it isn't. But I feel like BandLabs is the bridge to being able to accomplish that. Yeah, I can leave this. I didn't make any changes. Um, I'm gonna pop open Feng Shi's request, and the only reason I feel the confidence to do so is because I was told I do have the ability to stream the process and results on that. So it's not technically publishing it. I'm just gonna crack it open to my Lost Lullaby to current. It's been such a journey in this last year of making music, learning the techniques and the tricks that I have in BandLabs. And I know that this isn't even close to the end because BandLabs is considered rather low tier when it comes to making music in the first place. So once I have used BandLabs to the fullest extent, I'll probably move on to something like FL Studio or what have you out there. This is just one small leg of this journey, and I'm doing it for kicks and giggles. But this was the Recent request commissioned by a client, Feng Shi. I'll actually give a shout out there. Um, Feel free to check out the content, or if you just want to hear my music from time to time. But, oops, there we go. This was a transformative piece that was requested from me. Sometimes this process doesn't take a bunch of different lines of script. Sometimes it's just putting two things together that maybe somebody normally wouldn't have ever imagined would go together. So that was a recent commission piece. Transformative went from a very interesting, low and meditative state into something rather big, impacting, full feeling. That was fun to work on this recent weekend. But yeah, that's basically what my process is: the slapping sounds in here. That somebody already created. I'll be head to bed now. Hope you have a good stream. Thank you for the lurk bacon flavor and for the raid. I hope you have a good night. And I didn't read that before I hit play, so you're probably already asleep. But yeah, I'm looking forward to really unpacking Johnny's request, seeing what kinds of sounds I can find in Band Labs that are going to go well in this, which honestly, I may not stream my process of just pulling and looking and searching. I may take some time between here, and I think one of the next meetup times we discussed might be Friday. Don't quote me. Hang on a minute. Yeah, I might forego streaming tomorrow and see what I have to present by Friday. Um, because this is definitely something I want to get into the meat of, and it seems to me that now is probably a good time to end the stream. I know that it's only been a half hour since the point at which I restarted the stream, but we were nearing the two, I think, at the 2.5 or 3 hour mark already. And even though we didn't get anything put down in the booth, that is not a discouraging thing, even slightly. The early work, the early and initial meetings are more often than not, touching bases, doing some searches, feeling around to see what fits the scope thematically. And even though the best version of doing that is going to have my commissioner there in the booth live to listen and have the feedback. Number one, today's stream was scuff beyond scuff. It was the sort of omens of scuff, and that's perfectly fine. It's neither here nor there. The second thing is, it took a lot of research to even find out where we were in the music because for some reason this very iconic sound is oddly hard to pin down when it comes to the descriptive portion of it. Good grief, get this out of here. That is also part of his request, but it's for the pop noise that you hear in this rap. But yeah, I'm gonna spend probably this week going through and seeing just how close to this request I can get before I meet up with Johnny again. Without further ado, I think I'll close this down for now. I'm gonna just put some of the notes that we picked up from today. Light music genre, 1950s PSA. We also learned some new musical terms that I'd never heard of because I don't have experience with instruments. My musical experience does come from vocals, choir, and even though it was an audition and competitive choir, it doesn't cover everything, folks. Let me just tell you. That's why I love BandLabs as a program. I understand that FL Studio, Cakewalk, to some extent, all the other all the other different digital audio workstations you hear about, they're the big thing to get into. Well, the fact of the matter is my process is not trying to be the big thing. I'm not trying to drop my music album. That's not what I do. I cater to streamers and podcasters and people who want to have a sound that is uniquely their own, but you're not trying to pay for top dollar music, and I'm not offering top dollar music. I'm offering music that makes you feel like you're being represented well. And Johnny knows this about my process. He knows this about what I'm doing. So there's no disconnect there. And I'm not trying to be some crazy music label maker in the future. But we're going to go ahead and find a raid target after I save that little bit of information. I in no way am I discouraged by there not being any sound up there. I'm actually really excited to dig into this and find out what can come about from a genre that basically doesn't exist within BandLabs. I will make it exist. I made clown music exist when there was no clown music. Audio device disconnect. I don't care about that. All right. So we have saved our reference there. We are going to go to the chatting scene. Ayo. Let me go ahead and make this fox a little better seen. Yes, I am a stuffed animal. My artist is so good at arting that it looks actually like a genuine animal when I'm normally sitting in the corner. So, it is what it is, and that's amazing. I love Lizabite's work on my character. But it does make it difficult when someone's like, hey, you're that, like, cat animal thing, right? And I'm like, no, not a cat or an animal. But that's fine. Let's see. A raid victim. I'm thinking either Plague Puppy or Mochas. I think we'll go ahead and give Mochas a raid. If you enjoy wholesome content that's 16 plus, maybe Mochas is your gal. So let's go ahead and get the raid message copied, and I will initiate that raid. Thank you, everybody. Lurkers, you guys are wonderful. I know that my content is basically music and sounds, and that's really all you have to do. And for the people who do participate in chat, thank you as well. Love bouncing off of you guys and hearing what piques your interest or even interest in my process in general. So, much of thanks. Shout out. Nope, not shout out. I did that earlier. I'm gonna not do that now. Raid. Maybe mochas. I think that's how she spells this. Oh, it's not capitalized. How interesting. Adorable streamer. There we go. I'm gonna have to fix that raid slider. Jeez. There's your message. Thank you, Yulin. Let's go.
For 1 minute, and you guys can do additional votes for, let's say, 300. Start poll. Violet, hello! You're just in time. We just started a poll for which game we're gonna be playing first. Oh, you were doing music? Hell yeah! If you need to do any post-stream self-care, by all means, do what you gotta do. I'm gonna go ahead and just make your raid star, because I feel like